When I was first chosen as a leadership scholar, I was surprised. I wasn't even entirely sure what a leader was supposed to be. I thought that a leader was someone in a position of power, someone whose opinion is valued and who has the ability to sway people to do as they say. I thought that leaders were people who sought real change and did whatever it took to achieve their goals.
Coming into this class, when I thought of a leader, I thought of team captains choosing plays or the boss in an office calling the shots and making decisions. I thought of opinionated, extroverted people who asserted themselves and used their power to make changes. But leadership can look a lot of different ways, and there are many more types of leadership than I originally thought.
A leader was a servant leader, someone who serves others. My impression was servant leadership was the only right way of leading. In high school leadership, servant leading in Agape was our model when we led events and interacted with others. I was taught the 8 essentials of Agape love are patience, kindness, humility, respect, selflessness, forgiveness, honesty, and commitment.
Before this class, when I thought of a leader, I thought of a person who was strong, outspoken, someone who got things done and knew how to control a crowd. Being in this class, I can see there is much more to leadership than that. It is not always about control but respect, not all about talking but learning to listen, knowing that in strength there should be kindness. Now I see that knowing how to lead also means learning how to follow.
My whole life, I have had a huge role of leadership. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, therefore making me a role model to them. Being handed this role of leadership has grown me into the leader I am today. A trait that has helped me become a model to them is my independence. Being an independent person, I believe, has inspired my younger siblings to do so too. Considering what I thought of myself as a leader when I entered class on the first day all those weeks ago, I've learned that my personal leadership styles and characteristics will not change all that much as I continue to learn and grow. I have learned that it is important to adapt your leadership style to the situations you face and that one should always be eager and willing to learn from new people and new situations.
Amy Appleton's concepts and models were very interesting to me, but what stuck out the most in my mind was the video on mistakes leaders make. When I thought of leadership, I never really thought about the mistakes that are made, some of those being not putting yourself first, not living up to values, and not being authentic, where authenticity relates to being constant and true and maintaining your integrity with honesty and follow-through.
I think something really unique and impactful we've experienced in this class has been the number of guest speakers we've heard from. They're role models for us. It's inspiring to see and talk to people who've applied what we're learning now and have succeeded in their fields. Speaking to Western graduates, and especially ones who took this class, make me think, yeah, that could be me. It encourages me to pursue studying leadership.
The presentation we had with Anab and Jesse was empowering to see how student leaders transformed into adult leaders. I learned how I could incorporate the skills used in class in the real world. I realized how much leadership is integrated with moral issues. It is important to know and stay committed to your values because as a leader in the real world, issues that conflict with your values will arise.
Leading with love is a skill we all strive for. Some people who are less fearful are closer to leading with love. This is because to lead with love, you must be fearless like John Bryant. He discovers that leading with love means to do good and to love others like God loves us. This love is a love that can be shared by all, especially if the right leader directs us to love.
The service learning project allowed me to use my strengths and also work on my weaknesses. I presented my top strengths of kindness and fairness by switching off the job of digging and planting. I also collected pots when it became disorganized. My partner's curiosity to learn helped my weakness in the love of learning by asking what the purpose of the hay was. I was also able to teach others about the hay's prevention of erosion.
Integrity has a variety of meanings and definitions. One universal definition from the Stanford Encyclopedia is the wholeness, intactness, or purity of a thing. Craig Dunn tells us that integrity is the coherence between values and behavior. He also tells us that honesty is different from integrity. Integrity demands more of us than honesty. It goes beyond just a commitment. Leaders can either do significant harm or significant good with the power that they are given. I think it's important that leaders stick to their morals and uphold the idea of integrity that we've learned about in order to do what they say they will do. We can't expect ourselves to help our cause if our actions and words don't match up. We have to uphold ourselves to our moral values to be able to create a significant positive impact. Leaders can either do significant harm or significant good with the power that they are given. I think it's important that leaders stick to their morals and uphold the idea of integrity that we've learned about in order to do what they say they will do. We can't expect ourselves to help our cause if our actions and words don't match up. We have to uphold ourselves to our moral values to be able to create a significant positive impact.
Before this class, I never thought about how a strength could be a negative and a weakness could be a positive. I was able to take a step back and see how my kindness could lead to my being taken advantage of, and how being slow to forgiveness allows me to take a step back and be sure that forgiveness was deserved. While my strengths and weaknesses are similar in ways, I was able to see that they gave me a balance that could help me to grow as a leader.
Two of my lowest character strengths were humility and teamwork, and I didn't know if I would have an opportunity at service learning to work on them. Toward the end of the day, though, I ended up thinking of a way we could all work together to move bales of hay, then overheard a guy next to me saying, "Whoever thought of this is a genius." It actually felt great to team up and finish the job without taking any credit.
A quote from the text really exemplified what I thought to be the biggest theme in leadership, and that is the idea of morality. From page 446, moral beauty happens when someone carves out a place for compassion in a largely ruthless universe. In order to demonstrate good leadership and really make a change, we must think about what we value as people before anything else.
The value of reflection in a leader's role is essential to improving not only he or she's strengths and weaknesses, but also the relationship with their followers. Sometimes it is easy to be so focused at the task at hand that we forget about our surroundings. Once a leader reflects, he or she is now able to recognize things from an outside perspective.
Reflection is a time when we take a step back and thoroughly think about the past. A personal recommendation is to reflect on something that is bothering you or weighing you down. All we have to do to reflect is to find a quiet space, go by yourself, and think back on what has happened. Think about what you can do now to the situation, too.
Throughout this class, we've learned about and evaluated different types of leadership styles and discussed our personal character strengths and those of good leaders. Through service learning, working in small groups, speaking in class with guests, and especially through reflecting on our own strengths and weaknesses, motivations, and actions, we've redefined what leadership means to us and what it can mean to each of us in our own futures.
So what makes a good leader?
Someone who knows who they are and will stand up for their morals.
Someone who behaves ethically and authentically.
Someone who is honest, loving, and keeps an open mind.
Someone who reflects on their actions.
Someone passionate about what they do.
Someone altruistic.
Someone with integrity.